Okay, so what actually we will be learning in our today's session will be um basically we will be understanding what actually are registries, right? And how application deal with registries and how we will be able to check whether there is anything within the registries or not. Okay, so this is the main agenda for today's session. First thing is what actually are registries. Before jumping into this particular part, does anyone have any idea or can anyone share any of your knowledge regarding registries? Like what actually you feel this can be or this is?
माइक्रो प्रोसेसर में रजिस्टर होते हैं ना.
रजिस्टर नहीं ये तो रजिस्ट्री है ये
ओके.
वाला.
आई डोंट हैव एनी.
Okay. So basically what actually are registries? Registries are a specific, what we can call it as a smallest database in our operating system. Why this particular thing will be utilized? Okay, because when it comes to our RAM, right, which will be utilized. So whenever I'm dealing with any kind of applications or even the operating system, typically what happen is that all the details which are done or all the things which are done during the processing, it will be stored within the RAM memory, right? So for example, if I'm going forward with my Zoom application, if I type anything, right, during the processing, basically it will make use of my RAM memory, and then basically it will execute the functionality. Now here the main thing will be RAM memory will be a volatile data. So basically, when it comes to this volatile data, what happens is whenever we are closing that process or whenever we are shutting down our system, okay, at that point of time, this memory will be freed out. So at that point of time, even though what actually we have typed or what actually we have done, right, those specific things will not be memorized by our system or that application. Now, what happens whenever we are setting some specific type of preferences? For example, when I installed the Zoom for first time, it might have asked me that which kind of language or which particular language I want to utilize for my future use, right? And I can select English or Hindi or whatever I want. So at that point of time, if that particular thing is being processed within the RAM memory itself, so at that point of time, if I close again, it will not remember next time, and I need to select every point of time whenever I start that particular tool, right? So this kind of preferences or those specific data which will be utilized by our operating system or the application will be stored in this particular smallest database, which we can call it as a registry, right? Our system will be by default having the registry. Even operating system will be storing the data within the registries. The application which we are utilizing, it will be storing the data within the registries. And whenever it requires those specific functions to execute, it will take the content out of it, and basically it will go forward and validate those specific details. We will see how registries are looking like within next few minutes, but yeah, basically this is how everything will be available. Now, how operating system will be utilizing it? For example, if I'm deleting some kind of folder or file, or I'm deleting anything, any of the data, I am moving some of the data, right? I am setting up my preferences that I want my icon size a bit larger or a bit smaller, or I want this particular type of logo, right? All of those kind of things, whatever we are setting up as our preferences, right? Those specific things will be stored within the registries as itself. So, how or what are the types of registries which are stored within our system, right? What are the different set of registries which are stored and how actually it will be utilized, right? So that is what we will be looking at. So let us jump into our particular registries and let's see how actually it will be looking like. Very simple thing will be there. On registry will be containing two particular things. The first one will be the name of what actually it is going to store and the key value. Okay, so basically the value of it. So for example, if I'm having my name, so basically there will be a specific parameter or the specific name or the keyword which I want to store, and basically the name will be there. So likewise, that these two things will only be stored, and except that there will not be anything like that, right? So basically this type of things, if it is storing some specific type of preferences like language, so I can go ahead, I can so basically at that point of time it will be something looking like this. So there will be the specific parameter and the value of it. So basically if I'm selecting English, so it will be something like that. So likewise, this kind of things will be stored within the registries, and this is how we'll be able to see. Now, by default, you can also see these registries within your system, right? So there is one tool called registry editor, which will be coming by default within your system, right? So you can just go ahead and we can just search across the registry editor in any machine. You can just typically see the specific things within your machine which you have created for this test environment itself, but this will be by default installed. You do not have to install it separately here, right? We will just go ahead and open it. It definitely requires our administrative permissions, so we will click on yes, and this is how it will be looking like. So basically, what are the main things which will be available here? So if we go ahead and look into that, typically we will be having four main types, or we can call it as in classes. The first one will be root. Root will be containing all those specific things which an administrator of your system will be setting up within your machine. Okay, so in case if there are 4 to 5 users or multiple users, right, within your system, within this particular operating system, there will be some of the common preferences which might be set up. There will be some of the tools which will be installed for all the users, right? All those specific things will be stored within the H key, right, classes and root. Second one will be current user. So whatever user I have currently used to log in within the system, that particular details will be available in the current user. And within the local machine, we will be having all of those specific things which are installed, right? Here we will be having the softwares and all of those kind of things we'll be having for different users and current configuration. So these are the by default things which will be available. Where exactly we need to focus on? Typically we'll be focusing on this two part, right? Because in the current user we will be having all the thick client applications which will be installed. So basically we will be able to go ahead and we will be able to see those specific things within the software, and we'll be able to validate whether there is anything which whatever are the things which are being stored by that particular application, right? In case if we have installed it permanently, or basically if there is anything which is available there, so basically within the system, whatever are the system level configurations, right, our softwares, our security, okay, all of those kind of details will be available here. The hardware related stuff, all those things will be available here, and our software related stuff will be available here, right? So typically we'll be going through the current user, and this is the major part where we'll be focusing. Other things will be focused by the IT admins and all of those specific people, right? As a part of us, as a penetration testers, this is the place where we will be focusing on, where we will be reviewing the softwares. But let us see what actually are the things which will be available here. For example, we can go to the printers, and there the details, right? The mode and the mode per user and those kind of things will be there. So here you can see the facts and all those details, one node and all those details, right? So likewise, whatever are the things which are available in my network, right? So network registries, the network related preferences. For example, if I'm setting up that there is this particular printer which, or there is this particular Wi-Fi network, right, which should be given more preference compared to the other Wi-Fi networks which I have already saved within the network. Those kind of things will be available here. System and all those things. We can go to software, and all the tools which, or all the softwares which we had installed, right, will be available. For example, we had previously installed Wireshark. So update intervals and those kind of things are stored. So likewise, all those specific preferences are available here. We can even modify those specific things. So typically I can double click on it, and here is the value. So value name, value data. Okay, we can also tell it as a key and key value. We can modify it. For example, I can modify it. I can click on OK, and we will be able to do that. Okay, so this kind of things will be available and will be typically stored within our system. So now that we had understood what actually are this particular registries and how we can see that particular registries, let us understand how these things will be helpful for us during our penetration testing. So typically, whenever we are going through our thick client applications, right? So at that point of time, thick client application tend to store data within our application, something like just now what we have seen with Wireshark. Wireshark, we had installed it and basically it was storing some data. It was related to some kind of updates and those kind of things, right? If there is some kind of preferences, it will be storing those preferences, and those kind of things which it will make use of in future will be stored at that point of time. Now, what we'll be checking here, we'll be checking whether there is anything which is user related sensitive information can be stored here or is being stored by the client application here or not. Why? Because if there is any other user, right, they can access that particular, if there is administrator or any other user, they will be able to access this particular software, okay, registries, and they will, if there is any sensitive data is stored there, definitely they will be able to access it. They will be able to get those specific details. Even they will be able to modify those specific details as well. Okay, all the user related sensitive data we need to validate, something like user IDs, passwords, internal URLs, right? Email IDs, phone numbers, whatever are those specific things, right? What are the user related information? All those specific things will be checking, and anything which is available here, definitely this will directly go into our report as a part of vulnerability itself. So how actually we will be first of all validate that whether the application is dealing with the registries or not. There will be many applications which might not at all deal with registries because they don't want anything within the registry. They might take up another option of storing those specific details in some kind of files or some kind of external server-based database or something like that, right? So at that point of time, they might not deal with that registries altogether, and someone might be dealing with the registries, and they might store some kind of temporary values and those kind of things, and some of the applications might be storing all the details within the registries. So first of all, our first step will be to identify whether the application deals with the registry or not. So to go forward and check that we are having those applications, I have already linked those applications within that particular PDF itself. So you can later on go ahead and do that, download that. And we are having one of the tool called Redshot. What actually Redshot will be doing? It will be having very simple task. This is the tool which we will be utilizing to identify whether the application deals with the registries or not. So what this tool will be giving us for that particular part, it will capture what actually is the current state of registries before executing the client application. So basically, now whenever I am having the clean system, right, where the client application has not been executed, it will capture that particular state of registry, right? So this is the first thing. Then what will happen is once we execute the client application, once we deal with all the functionalities, later on it will again capture the next state of the registries and see whether there is any kind of difference between both of them or not. If there is any kind of difference, where exactly that particular difference has been available, and what actually are the changes which has been done. Many times there will be the deletion in the registries, there will be some kind of modification, right? There might be something which where the values are added. So what actually are the things which has been done at that point of time? Those specific things will be shown up here. So again, the download link is available within the PPT itself. You can just go ahead and download it. Let us first thing what we will be doing is to go forward, and our step number one will be to identify this particular thing. Will be that we will be going forward, and we will be first of all identifying um that whether the application or thick client application, right, is dealing with registries or not. Okay, for that we are going to use the tool called Redshot. So before execution of the thick client application, we will capture the first shot. Okay, so what we will be doing before executing the thick client application, we will go to that Redshot tool, registry screenshot. Basically, we will go to that application, we will execute it, and here that there will be very simple interface. What we need to do is basically it will be very simple here. It will just ask us whether we want to compare the logs in plain text or HTML. We just need the things in plain text. If we want to specifically scan for a specific directory, currently we want everything, right? So we will not be selecting anything here. Output path, we will keep it as the same, and just we are going to click on first sort, something like this. We'll click on sort. So at that point of time, what it will do is still the thick client application has not been executed, right? So at that point of time, what it will do is it will capture what actually is the current state of that particular registries which are available. Once we have done that, right, so still it is completing. Now this might be time taking process based on how much memory your system will be having, right? So if your system is having loads of files, it will be time taking, but here we are using a fresh system, so it will be a less time taking. Yes, I see someone has unmuted. You can go ahead with your query. Yeah, yes, Anuradha.
So it is like before installing that application on machine,
Correct.
we
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to take.
Before
Okay,
installing.
got it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yes. Now, once we have done with that, right? What we will be doing is for the time being, we will just minimize this particular application, and then we will install the application, we will execute it, and we will do all the functionalities of the thick client application. So in this scenario, this is the application what we had done. So here you can see this is the application, right, which I have shared. So I have just entered the setup file. I have just downloaded it just to save time. What we'll do is we will execute that one. We'll double click on it. We will click on yes. It will set up. We will click on next, next, next. We will keep everything as default. We will install it. And now once it is done, we will click on exit, and we will and basically it will execute by itself, right? So, or if it is not, the icon will be shown up here. You can just double click on it and we can open the application. Now our next step will be, once we are done with that, right? Now we will be executing the functionalities of the application. Something like the application functionalities might be, if you might be having first time as register, you can go forward and register yourself, right? You can go ahead and log in. You can try to add some particular data, right? You can go forward and delete the data, some of the data, not all the data, right? You can go forward and change password or whatever are the functionalities which are user related functionalities, right? You can go ahead and do that. Here you can see we can click on OK. Basically, there is some of the pop-up which is shown to us. We'll click on OK. It will ask us what we need to do, right? So basically, there is configure button. I can go ahead and I can configure myself, and there are few of the details which I need to fill. We will wait for few seconds till that loads. So here you can see these things. I will add my email address. So we will go ahead with this one. I will just enter all those things. This one we will keep it something like this. We will keep, and here I will enter my password. Okay, so currently what we are doing is we are just going forward and just keeping all the configurations and passwords and everything. So once we are done with that, we will click on OK, and basically our configurations are done, right? You can also check within the options and see what all are the other options, right? So email configurations we have done, whether there is anything which is very much sensitive, like here you can see general and language and time settings and statistics and logs and backups, not much sensitive data here, right? Whatever are the things which you are feeling, right? Again, every application will not be having same things. So this will be your decision whenever you are conducting your projects. Like anything which you feel that okay, this is specific to user, those kind of things you need to go forward and configure, right? So basically, passwords will be there, change password will be there, right? User related data will be there. So all of those kind of things will be there. Now, typically in this application, there is nothing much more except that particular main link list and email ID and password and those kind of things. This is something like a multi-mailer or those kind of application where you can send loads of like mails to loads of people within one time itself, right? So basically, very less functionalities. Once we are done with that, we will close the application and then we will come back to red shot. We will go ahead and we will click on second shot. So now what we had done, we had done all those specific functionalities, and now we are capturing the second shot. So basically at that point of time, it will check what actually is the current specific uh, um, details within the registries, right? So basically it will take few seconds, and now you can see it has been completed. So if at that point of time you will be getting some specific type of background sound, right, that it is completed, and here you will be able to see both of them will be disabled. We will click on compare. It will open a text file for us, and what we need to do is we just need to search for the name of that particular application or the data which we have modified at that point of time. So this is how actually it will be looking. The details which it will be having will be a long list. So here you will be able to see there will be lots of things which might be going on within the background of the application as well, and typically this is how it will be able to show you. Keys will be nothing but the values which are stored within the registry, right? There might be something which will be deleted, there might be something which will be added, there might be something which will be modified, right? Here you'll be able to see the username and the desktop where those specific things are being done, and what actually are the things which are done, those things, right? So group policies has been modified in the back end, and the caches and all those things has been modified. So typically there will be many things which will be going on within the back end. Now what we need to search is actually there will be loads of data because our system will be doing many of the changes within the registries. Okay, so all those things will be available here as well. Now what we need to look at, we don't need to go forward and see each and every data within the within this particular thing, right? Because we are specifically looking for those specific things which has been done by our client application. What we'll be doing is we will just go to our control F. We will search for that particular data, and here first thing is what actually are the things which you had modified, right? You might have modified the username. We can go ahead and search for username, password. What actually are the things which you have modified? You can search for that one, or you can search for that particular application name, right? So here it was multi-mailer. So I will just search for multi, and we'll see what actually are the things which are coming up at that point of time. So here there was something which was added. Typically the details which if we are having and if it is shown up within the registries, we will be able to go forward and see those specific data here as well. So there is some drivers and those kind of things, the scheduler and those things. So here you can see uninstall and those kind of things was happening. So it might have removed some type of things previously. We'll just go ahead and check. So here you can see if we had gone forward, okay, so there is something which is going on, and if I highlight it to you, so basically here you can see there is the password. Again, we had entered the password and login email address, so those kind of things are shown up here. So here you can see previously it was test, right? Again, the new thing which has been updated was keval@mail.com or something like that. So previously it was keval@gmail.com. Now it is this one. So typically it is dealing with the registries and it is storing this kind of data. If we are not finding anything here, definitely the application is not dealing with any of the things which are available within the registry. So basically you should be looking into that particular application, okay, whatever is the application, and you should be seeing this kind of data which you are seeing, right? In case if you are not seeing that particular data as well, then also your application is not dealing with the sensitive data and storing it in the registries. So at that point of time it is totally fine. You do not need to go further and further within this particular test case. But yeah, at that point of time, if you are seeing anything within the things which you have modified within the application and it is shown up here, definitely that particular application is dealing with that data and it is storing within your registries as well. So now that we have identified that, okay, this particular application is dealing with the registries and it is storing the data which we have modified, let us go forward and we need to confirm that by going into the registries and validating whether that particular data has been visible or not. So how we can go forward and check? We will again go back to the registry editor. Now, on the first place itself, we can go to the registry editor and we can check. But typically what will happen is, at that point of time, there will be multiple things which will be going on within the registries. So it will be very much difficult for us to go ahead and check within all these particular registries that whether the thick client application which we are trying to perform, right, whether it is having those specific registry configuration or not, right? So basically if we are having that confirmation that yeah it is dealing, then we can go ahead and we can take that hard path and see that whether anything is going on there or not. Otherwise it does not make sense to go through all these particular folders and then look into that and then check validate whether it is there or not. Where exactly we'll be going through? We will be going through the current user, right? Because this is the place where our current user applications and all those specific details will be available. Within that, we'll be going to the software. So within the software, we'll be having all those specific applications which are currently installed within this particular user, and basically it deals with or it stores something within other registries. So you'll be able to find the Google, Microsoft, and all of those kind of things. The place where we are majorly interested in is the application which we are currently testing, right? Which is this one. We will expand it and there will be multiple folders. Now, this is the part where it might be confusing to you, right? Because every application will be having multiple folders which it might be creating. And there is no specific standard way or to tell the developers that you should be storing everything here or there other place, right? There might be multiple folders and we need to go through each and every folder validating whether this data is available there or not, right? So in this scenario there are two folders which are created. In other scenarios there might be 5, 10, 15, something like that, right? So basically if you see Google, in Google Chrome, there are multiple things, right? One folder, subfolder, and then there is multiple things, right? So likewise there might be loads of folders which might be available. Here you can see in Microsoft there are loads of things which are going on, right? So if your application is having multiple folders, definitely you need to go through and that might be time taking process. So that is the main reason why we have taken a breath shot on the first place, to confirm that whether it is dealing with it or not. If yes, then only we will go through this particular part and we will check one by one everything, right? Otherwise it will be just a waste of time for us. We will go through the first folder. We will see what actually are the details. Here you can see some TX and those kind of things are there. This might be something related to the configuration of the application. And here you can see some kind of memory addresses and those kind of things are stored. Not much things which are very much important for us. We can just double click on it. We can check whether there is any of the things which are available there or not. We can go ahead and we can see the next drop down button and we can go through one by one each and everything. So there is one thing which is called mail account, and here you can see the email address is stored. Here you can see the value is this one, the login mail address value is this one, a mail server, password, right? all of those specific things are available, right? So basically this is the place where it is storing. Now typically this will be a information which can be accessed by the other particular login users as well, right? So in case if the attacker has the access of other user, right, they can go forward and they can validate if, or if they are having the administrative access as well, they will be able to access those specific things. And typically this kind of sensitive details should not be stored within the registries. That should be stored in the their own database in an encrypted format itself, right? So those specific things will be available. So this is how we will be able to check for this particular vulnerability. Any doubts, any queries? Yes, sir.
Yes,
Shravan.
here even if it is a locally saving those details,
Mm-hmm.
as per the rules, it should be encrypted. In the scenario, it's
Mm-hmm.
encrypted, no? It's
It is
good. That means
encrypted. I will be able to change it. For example, if I change it, right? Uh, I can change it. I can make it like that, and the user will not be able to use their own passwords, right? So basically, I can modify the data as well. So that is another reason. I can change the
okay.
username as well.
But you cannot break it, but you can lock their account.
Correct, correct, correct.
Okay.
And
Lock it, or
even
maybe we can delete the entry also, right,
yeah,
from
we can delete.
registry.
We can
Yeah,
delete. We
so
can.
user will not be altogether able to access the
Yes,
application.
yes, yes. And even the encryption, here we are not sure whether what actually is the encryption. But if the encryption they are using very low level encryption, we can break it as well, right? So, definitely, like those are the possible things which will be available. Like,
Actually, the sensitive data should not be saved in the node systems, basically.
correct, 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 correct.
Okay. And other concern, you are talking about red shot where you are comparing the value before
Mm-hmm.
installation, after installation, and then
Correct,
either the application should dealing with registry or not. See,
correct.
in the live scenario,
Mm-hmm.
maximum that when you are going to do some penetration testing in the live environment,
Mm-hmm.
customer already installed the application in their system or server. When we
Mm-hmm.
are dealing on it, we cannot ask them to uninstall or we cannot do this process. Normally, I'm just asking to you.
Yeah. What you can do it like typically whenever you are getting the thick client application, right?
Mm,
What they will be doing is they will be sharing you the exe file, and you will be doing
okay,
all this test in your machine itself, right? So
okay.
basically at that time you can uninstall and you can do it. But in case if that type of scenario happens where the configuration of that application is very much time taking, right, and
Mm,
there is no way where you can spend that much time to reinstall that application, what you can do is you can just modify that particular sensitive data, right? For example, user details and those kind of things. And before modifying the sensitive data and after modifying, you can take both of the screenshots and you can check
okay,
whether
fine.
it is available.
And even the application is dealing with the registry or not, we can monitor through the process monitor also, correct?
Process monitor, yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
So
But there
process
will be
monitor,
loads and loads of entries, right? So it might be difficult to specifically
but we
validate
can
what
create
all
the
data
filters
is.
now. We can create the filter created or modified or
Correct.
deleted,
We
and then
can do that.
even that keyword also we can set it. So based on the key that filter and then
Correct.
keyword, we can take the registry data. Correct?
Correct. That is also one of the other possible things.
Okay, fine, fine. Okay.
Any doubts, any queries, anything, guys? No?
Yeah, that's all.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yep, this is the one. Now before proceeding further, what I would like you guys to do is you can practice this one. Actually, our next topic is much more complex and it will be taking much more time. So it does not make sense for us to go forward and break the topic into half. Otherwise, it will be very much difficult to grasp as well, right? So
Mm.
what you guys can do is you guys are having some time today. I will share this PPT with you guys. What you can do is you can practice on this one, and then we will be starting up with our fresh topic from the fresh session itself. So let me
What would be the
quickly
next
share.
one? What would be the next topic?
That is DLL hijacking.
Okay,
Keval, may I request you, like, I got a PPT for yesterday's session. Can you just share the PPT for the all, not all the session, but sessions which we have covered?
Okay, sure.
Mm.
We'll try to check.
Because I haven't started practicing, so I thought, I got a time today, so start installing and all that.
Sure.
My ISO image is not getting downloaded because of network fluctuation, so I'm stuck
Okay.
there.
Okay. Sure. Let me share that.
स्टक क्यों है स्क्रीन?
नहीं, मैं बस डाउनलोड कर रहा हूँ, इसलिए मैंने
वो डीएलएल आज ही लेने वाले हैं क्या?
नहीं, वो हम कर लेंगे, क्योंकि पहले तो हम डीएलएल हाईजैकिंग समझेंगे क्या चीज़ है, और फिर हम डीएलएल को देखेंगे कौन कौन से डीएलएल, फिर हम देखेंगे, तो वो हम कल के सेशन में लेंगे। आज के सेशन के लिए इतना ही था।
ठीक है, ओके। लीव कर तो चलेगा?
हाँ, कोई बात नहीं। अगर वो पीपीटीज डाउनलोड करनी है ना, तो फिर ज्वाइन रहना, वरना लीव कर सकते हो, इसलिए मैं
ओके, आज का पीपीटी ना, फाइन। मेरे पास है ना L1, L3, L4 की पीपीटी नहीं है।
हाँ, बस अभी मैं शेयर किया हो।
सारी पीपीटी डालेंगे L1।
So these are all the PPTs which we had done till now.
ठीक है।
Hey, thank you, Keval.
Welcome.
Yeah, have a nice day ahead. Yeah, bye.
Same to you. Have a great day, guys. Everyone.